Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the dessert diviner herself, Sandy Reevy.
I got what I dreamt of this morning. Thank you.
It is episode 125 and December 14th here in the Evanston Sanctuary. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have the solar eclipse in Sagittarius.
New moon. Lots to say about this.
Same day, Monday, December 14th, Venus sextile Jupiter.
Beneficial alliances? ?
And same day, Mercury trine Mars.
Speedy talk. Talk fast.
Tuesday, December 15th, Venus sextile Saturn.
It's the last aspect Venus makes before she bounces forward.
And Venus ingress Sagittarius.
Happier times for her.
Then Wednesday, December 16th, Sun ingress Aquarius.
A permanent move.
Saturday, December 19th, Jupiter ingress Aquarius.
Now more joyful. Are you?
And Mercury cazimi Sun.
Get clear and adjust.
Then Sunday, December 20th, wrapping up the week, Mercury ingress Capricorn.
Into Cardinal Earth.
Then we also have in Talisman time, Sandy has finished up Tuesday, December 8th to build client lists, and Saturday, December 12th to express the true feelings through art in order to heal. Our upcoming talismans are to be determined, so make sure that you are on the email list to see what those are. Then on the horizon, we have our orbit of the week, an eclipse ring, and community check-in, as well as our extremely important talisman making webinar for the Great Conjunction. Then in our house, Sandy and I are going to bring she beads back to life and chat about it. So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
And the search ends here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is fierce, and so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, dessert diviner.
Well, I'll now have to tell the story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I woke up this morning, I've been doing my cleanse and eating everything green, which means green vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
I think I take 27 supplements a day, and I don't know,
You've been doing
5
good at it.
different.
I jumped in on this cleanse too.
Well, yeah, you did too, and it's been very energizing, re-energizing, and I've had incredible amount of energy. I'm sure it's the supplements and it's my astrology chart. I've got a lot going on this since December, and I might talk about that when I get to the Jupiter conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But I woke up this morning. Yeah, when I woke up this morning, I'm like, because today is a full day of doing work, and I want a dessert. I want something pretty. I want something to put on a pretty plate with a knife and a fork, and I want to sit with a hot cup of tea. I really want a piece of dessert. And of course, I'm not going to go get a piece of dessert. And you show up this morning and you're like, look what I have. And it's this box with a cellophane cover over it. And I can look in and go, ooh, blueberries and strawberries. And I think that's whipped cream. And I'm like, oh, thank you.
It was delicious.
So that was my first dessert I have to say since Thanksgiving. Yeah, I'm not the dessert person. So anyway, that's why that's that.
Okay. Well, let's go direct to you all of our listeners. Thank you so much. Keep those reviews coming. If you can't review, because I found out that you can only review on Apple Podcasts once.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't done that, do it. And if you've already done that, then send me your feedback. I want to see it. I want to read it on here. Lisa P. from Minnesota gave us a 5-star review. She said, and this was after a reading that she had with you, and this was also a reading that she was recommended to by one of her friends.
Oh.
So she says, I had amazing connections within the energies of my birth chart to align to my soul's purpose. I'm so excited about the affirmation I received for the path I'm ready I'm already on and to keep moving forward. Through this affirmation and alignment, I'm able to trust myself and own my inner guidance fully and be in flow with my universe. That's beautifully written.
Thank you, Lisa. You're aligned. I just help validate it for you.
It's true.
And then motivate.
Yes.
Keep going.
Those are our 2 keywords for astrology readings, validating and motivating. So in the transits, we have a big week, and we're also going to dip into next week because next week, Monday, is when this big Saturn conjunction, Jupiter, the great conjunction is happening. So
right, and that is on Monday the 21st.
Right.
So we're going to briefly talk, well, it might not be brief.
We'll try to do our best. So let's start with this week, Monday, December 14th, the solar eclipse in Sagittarius.
All right, there's a lot to say about this. It's a new moon, but it's the total solar eclipse. It's at 23 degrees of Sagittarius, and it happens in Chicago around at 10:17 a.m. Now, we won't see it here in the Northern Americans. We'll see, South America will, Chile, Argentina, and some of Southwest Africa will see it. And it's really important to know that the timing of eclipses. This is a 97-minute total solar eclipse, which then in astrological calendar wise, we cut that to, because it's about an hour and 37 minutes, we count that to 1 month and 37, which is about 1.5.
Right.
About 1.5 months that we'll be watching this take its largest effect. And of course, like the North America's not seeing it, it will have a minimal effect, but it's really the people that can see it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's that southern South America and parts of Africa, but it's moving with the South Node, and of course there has to be either a South Node or a North Node. One of the nodes has to be involved in order for it to become an eclipse, right? It's the North or South nodes of the moon. And it's this time, it's the South Node. So it kind of brings up, it's in Sagittarius. It brings up this like retrieve memory, munch on it, spit out what tastes bad, and have the rest support your system to propel you forward. So when I say that, I get goosebumps because when I close my eyes to kind of think, how will this, and it's not just because it's this total solar eclipse happening on this day. I mean, it kind of begins the total solar eclipse, the sun moving into the solstice,
right?
Then Saturn coming out of Capricorn, moving into Aquarius this week. And then Jupiter 2 days later follows. And she hasn't been into Aquarius in 12 years. And then it's like the new Gregorian year. And so all of this is happening, starting with this solar eclipse. And actually, we had the lunar eclipse 2 weeks ago. I want to read from Bernadette Brady, one of my mentors, who writes, well, she's, along with Fixed Stars, she is Eclipse Queen, in my view. And I use her book a lot. And the book's called Predictive Astrology, The Eagle and the Lark. And there's a lot of information in here. So I highly recommend it. But this is what she writes about this zero cycle of this eclipse, this patterning of the eclipse.
A group of the eclipse.
And, I wasn't going to read it. And then I because I didn't write it to say, hey, read from Bernadette's book. Because when I read it, when I was prepping for this a couple weeks ago, it didn't mean anything to me at the time. And so I read it today, and it means something to me now.
Okay, let's hear it.
So she writes, I mean, this is not this is kind of the last of the hard eclipses that we've been having for about 18 months. Mm-hmm. The series carries with it a very strong emotional feelings concerning relationships and or money. There could be anger or lust. There is a sense of fatedness, and individuals may find themselves caught up in relationship events which are beyond their control. There could also be sudden desire to finish a relationship. These emotions may be blocked or checked in some way, leading to a great deal of frustration. The best approach to this eclipse is to avoid rash action until the issues settle down. So if this eclipse lasts a month and a half, mm-hmm. that equals 1 hour and 37 minutes. So this rash movement she may be talking about, maybe we need to calm down. So that at least takes us to the beginning of February. And just as a personal note, without revealing so much, that is exactly the timing, the second week in February, that what I had planned to do. Now I'm going to wait and do it the second week in February. I find that really interesting after reading this. So anyone listening to this, if there's some trepidation or if there's some phone call you need to make or a comment.
Yeah, getting together for the holidays, that's a pretty, big struggle right now because people are unsure, right? So let's move on to the next transit. So Monday, December 14th, this is the same day, Venus sextile Jupiter.
Beneficial alliances. So Jupiter, remember, is in his fall. So he's been there all year, like falling down, very weak, has no support. And Venus is in Scorpio on this day, Monday. And she's in her detriment. So here we got the two benefics in debilitated places. So they always love to see one another. And in this aspect, they're 60 degrees away, so they can see each other. But the one's looking at the other, and she's looking at Jupiter, and there's really they can't help each other. They're not in good shape. The fact is that they can't do their usual embrace, but they can maybe squeeze a little bit out of what is good. So give it a try, right? These are two nice planets that aren't in good shape right now, because anything more may fall apart. So watch over spending, watch over eating, watch over anything, right?
Overdoing it.
Overdoing
Okay.
anything. Yeah. And when they meet up again, they're going to be in way better shape. So you could wave to all the desires that you want and say, I'm planning over here.
I've got my sights on you. And same day, we also have Mercury trine Mars.
And that's by 10:24 p.m., just as, you're trying to get ready for bed. Mars is still in his shadow, and this is speedy talk. So thinking and moving fast. Watch what you say. You may speak too fast. And again, holding on to that new moon solar eclipse energy of don't saying anything rash. Now, Mercury is in a trine to Mars because they're both in fire signs. So that's part of the speed and the movement that the mental cognitivity has. Mm-hmm. So this is going to be a lot going on. You can maybe do a lot of writing, make some plans, but they're not happening right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, and next we have our Tuesday, December 15th, We have 2 transits. The first, Venus sextile Saturn.
7 a.m. It's the last aspect of Venus before she leaves by, 3.5 hours later. That's the second aspect today. But it's about bouncing forward. It's a kind of a wrapping up, like licking stamps and walking to deliver. It's great for work that you love to do because it's sextile to Saturn. So even though she's not really strong here, finish up something. Yeah.
And the second transit that day, Venus ingress Sagittarius. This seems really nice.
Right? She's happier times. So if she's wrapped up by something, by this 10:21 a.m., she moves into the next sign of fire. It's a mutable fire. She prefers that than the Scorpio detriment. So already we should feel a shift on Tuesday morning by lunchtime. Right. So get that detailed, focused, really hard work, get that finished because you're going to feel lighter and this aspect will support you.
And Wednesday, December 16th, we have 1 transit, Saturn ingress Aquarius.
Oh my, 11:04 p.m., a permanent move. Okay, when we just said the solar eclipse on Monday kind of starts this boom, 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 boom,
The
boom,
ball
boom,
rolling.
boom, boom,
Maybe
boom,
the
boom,
boulder
right?
rolling down the hill. We don't know.
Well, kind of rolling down because, or at least getting to the top. Let's kind of vision that because it just feels like we've been pushing, like Sisyphus. And it's not rolling back down, right? It gets to stay. And, Saturn rules both Capricorn, where it's just leaving, and Aquarius, where it's moving. Now, it's a permanent move because Saturn dipped his toe into this fixed air sign from the end of March through early July. So for 3 months this year, it was in this fixed air. And then it went retrograde and came back, needed to do some more work, which was interesting because that was a period of time when we kind of got the ball dropped in February, early March. Then Saturn left the scene and came back in July. But he's now here for 2.5 years. He will stay here until March of 2023, where he will do in what I believe it will help the universe. It's a humane sign. It's an air sign.
And it's about the collective, which is great.
It's the
kind
community.
of giving a foundation to the collective, reworking the foundations that don't work anymore. So I think it's going to be a lot of rebuilding. So that's good news.
Well, Saturn brings stability.
It also brings limitation too.
Yeah.
So
it establishes. That's a really good word for establishing, law and order and love and happiness, right? It's Saturn in Capricorn, where he's been for really, except for that 3-month period, 3 years, really was that rough kind of mortar pestle trying to break
grind
down. Yeah. And here in Aquarius, it's about communication. It's about progressive. Let's come up with new plans. Let's establish new order.
Right. New ways of thinking. And Saturday, December 19th, we have 2 transits. The first, Jupiter ingress Aquarius. So Jupiter is following quickly after Saturn.
This is at 7:07 a.m. on Saturday. Now more joyful. Are you? And if you really should be. That's all I can say is poke. This is not a dream. It's like finally, I can feel, and I'm going to ask just right now, can anyone raise your hand, and if you're driving, just raise one hand. Feel this kind of, this energy is on its way. I get goosebumps. It's like the gears are starting to move again. It's like being in line, and I'm picturing the merry-go-round, right? And you're so excited. You haven't been on the merry-go-round forever, and you want to experience this. And you get to the front of the line, and it breaks down. And you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you paid, and you don't want to lose your space because you're never going to get back here to this place where they have the best merry-go-round.
Okay. Yeah.
And you're just so impatient. And all of a sudden, just kind of as you decide, this is done, I'm finished.
There's like a lift.
All of a sudden you hear, and the gears start moving. And there's this hope and promise and maybe now, maybe this is worth the wait. It's that kind of feeling. And all of a sudden those little horses go, the ostriches and things start moving.
The tigers. That was always my favorite.
And it's the same song over. It's like the same verse over and over again.
And same day.
But it's kind of one more thing. It's like if, and I'm really excited about this because if Jupiter is your activated planet for the year, for your birth year, and it is for me, which is why, the Jupiter being in this fall of Capricorn wasn't gifting us Jupiter activated people a big boost. And it's specifically for you guys, I'm asking if you know who you are. You may feel this movement of the merry-go-round beginning, because it's like moving on, it's skipping ahead, it's past these limitations. So from December 3rd, 2019 to today, December 19th, 2020, Jupiter has been stalled, falled. He fell down and couldn't get up.
Right.
Until now.
Yay!
La 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 la. Which
That's
is
beautiful.
one reason why we're hosting a talisman making ceremony on this day at 9:30 a.m. We're also opening up Sunday at 9:30 a.m. We'll talk more about this on the horizon.
Right.
But there's still some spaces available, and this is what you came down here to do in this life. It is this weekend.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a big stamp going forward. This is going to be the stamp on the passport for a lot of us who are here to do, the work, and we all are here to do the work. Mm-hmm. So it's just about, let's get really clear on the vision. What is your vision that you want to create and reveal? So that's what we're going to be talking about during that webinar.
Yep.
So moving on, same day we have the Mercury cazimi sun on the 19th.
And this will be happening pretty much all the day until, the exact is 9:26 p.m. But there's a 17-minute of arc, which creates the cazimi period from 9:09 a.m. till 9:55 a.m. the next day, which is why I wanted to get both of these talisman ceremonies, not only including the Jupiter and Saturn and Aquarius, and not only including the sun moving into Capricorn, but I also wanted to include the Mercury cazimi, the sun.
That is an action-packed 2 days.
It's the talisman ceremony probably that we'll ever host.
We just got off the call with a big circle of
council,
a council of spiritual guides from all over the world, and the most discussed date was December 21st. So this is that lead up, and you being a talisman maker, that December 19th and December 20th are going to be like the perfect
It's
time.
when Jupiter is applying to Saturn Now Jupiter has the wherewithal, the benefits of all, better equipped with gifts to give to Saturn. And Jupiter is applying to Saturn, delivers the gifts on the 21st. That's why we're doing this ceremony on the 19th and 20th.
Right.
So sign up for that. There's links somewhere here.
Yes. And if you have any questions, alex@intentionbeads.com. So Sunday, December 20th, Mercury ingress Capricorn.
Yeah,
shall we
506.
talk about earthly things?
Into Cardinal Earth. Yeah, it's finding things that make more sense. You'll feel more grounded. You'll be able to start the climb. Because it's almost like you know your way. You have the map. This is when you get to start moving forward. When Mercury moves into 0 degrees of Capricorn, he moves into his bounds. And this is a dignity specific for this early placement of 0 degrees. I think it's still 6 degrees of Capricorn. Mm-hmm. So this is, again, another really good aspect to take on during ceremony, which is Sunday the 20th.
Yes, getting grounded there. And so moving on into next week, Monday, December 21st, the sun ingresses Capricorn. So I just want to say a big happy birthday to all the Capricorns out there and happy winter solstice, everyone.
4:02 a.m. This is when it happened, Chicago time. It's the winter solstice. And it's sun stands still. Mm-hmm. There should be really like
solstice.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's really interesting because my astrologer friend Susan really kind of mentioned it on our webinar that, yes, it's the darkest day of the year. But right at this solstice point becomes the light returning. Yeah. So going to the dark, we're on our way to the dark right now, right? Mm-hmm. And on Monday, the 21st of December at 4:02 a.m., you'll wake up on Monday and you'll feel the light returning. So, it gets to stay around a little bit longer. And does this highlight all the kerfuffle of the year? And I guess this maybe is, yeah. And maybe the whole idea is not to look back.
Yes.
Right? To look forward. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we're having the new moon, this solar eclipse in Sagittarius that says, be optimistic, be hopeful, know that the light is returning and things are going to show up and really, shine.
And really it is. It's an opportunity. It's an invitation for optimism. Or it's an opportunity for a refresh, whatever that is. Because, we all can shed a whole lot of things from this 2020 year. But also think about all the things that we gain from these challenges of, needing to stay at home and really get close to ourselves and know who we are. So,
I've talked to some of my subscribers, monthly or quarterly, and pretty much as we finish up, like maybe our call for the quarter, Q4, there's been this overall thought that all of them in their own way have said, for all the things I wanted to do and get done and travel and start my new business and do this and do that, and I couldn't because of that.
Right.
I'm glad I didn't. I wasn't. I've changed the name of my business. There's been a reason for the pause, and they're grateful for this time to now they can move ahead, clear, more concise, with a quicker passion, right? And that's part of the gift of
great pace too, because I feel like the entirety of humanity has been able to take a deep breath, and we noticed this when we went over to Japan, that it's just this hustle and bustle, and it's this vibration that is so speedy that you feel it as soon as you're there. There's like this almost anxiety of just we were in Tokyo, so of course. And, now that we're still in COVID, there's a different speed going on. There's a different pace. People are more patient. People understand that, okay, it doesn't arrive tomorrow. That's okay. So that's what I've been really appreciating is the investment that people are making in that slower pace. And I love that. So let's end on the crescendo of the Monday, December 21st. This is the Jupiter conjunct Saturn. This is the grand conjunction. This is like dun da da da, like the reason, like all astrologers are talking. This is a huge transit that we have not seen in over 200 years.
And this is 8 hours after the winter solstice. So talk about finding new hope and optimism and new light and new vitality and sustainability. But yeah, Jupiter comes up and hits Saturn one time. Now, we know these two planets go retrograde, and they meet up every 20 years. But this will be the first time they're meeting up at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And this is the first air element. The last time they met up in air was 800 years ago. Remember that? And maybe we do in some cellular south node of our body. Because we were just finishing up Earth, the Industrial Revolution, things that are made of earth, resources. Before that, it was fire. Before that, it was water. And before that, it was air in 1226. And so one of the things I'll talk about during the Talisman ceremony is that was the Middle Age, like the Middle Ages, into the Renaissance period. And for me, I totally jive with the Renaissance period. Art and science and astrology and artistry. So maybe I was there one time. Maybe you were too. And now, these years later, it's just interesting. What will they call this upon looking back at it,
age,
right?
I know.
But going from the Middle Ages, right, to, bringing universities together so that people from around the world can study and share their thoughts and perspectives and innovations. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great reminder that this huge astrological transit brings, is that we are creating history.
Oh yeah.
And it's cool that we can really vision this, and we can be here, and we can be an active part of what this is and what this actually can mean. Can
I bring a little tip in that I was going to wait until the Talisman ceremony? Yeah. But I'll talk more about that the Jupiter and Saturn, and we've been watching these in the sky, or, you and I have, with a telescope all summer long. They've been, moving within a fist or fist and a half all summer long, but they have never joined. So the whole time they've been in Capricorn together, as Jupiter got to 28 Capricorn, Saturn moved out into Aquarius, then they both they've never joined together. And here's the interesting thing. They're the closest ever in 400 years. So they're going to look like one star. And some of the astrologers are talking, is this, oh God, I want to cry.
The Star of Bethlehem.
Is this the star? which was one major star, what it looked like. One. Was it two? Was it three of Venus as well? Because Venus will come up here and catch this. Not on this day, but is this the same bright star that the three wise men traveled to see what was being born? Who, what was coming about?
So cool.
That's how important this is.
Oh, that's so exciting to me. I mean, and I'm happy that you said that, Tip, because that's also been, trickling through some of my social media outlets too. And I'm so happy that people are really sharing this and sharing this astrological knowledge. And I mean, if there is one thing that we know about as humans is that cycles are life, right? We call it a life cycle for a reason, right? So this star is coming back around, for a reason. And that's what the planets do. They come back around in these cycles. And so let's begin again. Let's start this new time frame. Let's start this new age and really be intentional with it. Really be smart human beings, because we are.
We, like you mentioned, that we've been involved. We're the only astrologers that were invited to this global council for 2021. And we did our presentation today, and we listened to others' presentations. And one of the really key takeaways that one of the women from Australia mentioned is that there are souls that don't want to be here during this transition. And that maybe she said that maybe these are the people that are leaving this year. Yeah, I found that really just a different way to look at that. And I'm happy to still be here. And of course, astrology is part of this. Frequency, science, mathematical alliance that we're going into. Yeah. So, it was funny.
This is a big week coming up.
It's funny. So, of course, my family all knows my business, right? Of course, they're my family. And my mom, we check in a couple times a week, and she's like, "So how are you?" I'm like, "Mom, I am so busy. I am sorry. I can't talk long. Usually we talk until she wants to be done." I'm like, "I have about 10 minutes before I go into my next call." And she said, I was watching the news the other day, and I heard somebody say that they invited an astrologer onto the news, and the astrologer said, "She has never been this busy before. Everyone's coming for astrology, either lessons or readings, or I know our talismans, people are holding on to a new story."
Oh, yeah.
I am doing activation calls 2 and 3 and 4 a day just to activate the talismans that have just recently been sold.
And let's not get into that just yet.
Okay,
so
Alex,
talisman
the boss.
times, that you have finished up 2 talismans, the Tuesday, December 8th talismans to build client lists. And these ones sold immediately.
They sold them. So as I'm making the first one, I hear this: make one for yourself, Sandy. Because of the astrology, because we've just opened up our subscriptions, which actually I think we got to close it pretty soon. And so I get the message, make this one for me. So I make a second one. And so as I'm putting them up on the website, I said, well, I'll put up 2, that I made 2. And then as soon as I create the card, I'll take the one off. And by the time I went back to do that, they both had sold. So that's how quick the talismans are moving.
Yes, and that's
I'm so thrilled
about that. Yeah.
Because people are in the change.
Yeah. And Saturday, December 12th, to express true feelings through art in order to heal. I really love this one.
Well, my art reflects who I am. I am proud of what I create now, especially when my pieces inspire someone to feel something again and to want to pursue those thoughts. So I make the first one, and really get into the chart. I'm looking, and again, I hear, this one is for you, Sandy. And I think, well, I'm going to make a second one.
Okay, good.
So I make a second one, and when I went to put it up on the website, I only put one. Because I don't want this one. I didn't want any. In fact, I'm wearing it right now. This one, if you are an artist, if you are a channeler, if you are a writer of spiritual visioning, seriously buy this talisman. It's number 1335. I have one. You'll have the other. And let's see how that moves us both forward into helping express our true feelings through art in order to help others to heal, including ourselves.
Right. And that's
so
important.
This one needs to be moved and worked and engaged and activated right away. I'm excited to see who gets this one.
And I mean, really, art is so important. I was actually listening to NPR, I think it was yesterday, and it was just about how art is such a crucial part and such a constant throughout all ages, where it really gives an amazing look at what is going on in the collective. Mm-hmm. And so, I think that art is healing. I mean, so many people shifted over for like streaming shows and things, but really when you look at it, those comedy shows or those dramas, that is art. Mm-hmm. It's depicting a story. It's having you feel something and those types of things that you're discussing even in this talisman. And yeah, they were just talking about how it is so important for us to have an outlet, especially in times like these. Mm-hmm. So the upcoming talismans that you have are going to be determined, since the reading schedule, the talisman making webinars, and everything are really coming to a head right now. Mm-hmm. That we're not going to be promising any talismans. However, if we do have time, if Sandy has time, then we will be notifying you all via email. So make sure to get on our email list. If you don't know how, alex@intentionbeads.com.
Can I say this?
Sure.
So because it's such a big day, 2 days, that I've sent out an email to my subscribers that I talk to on a monthly or quarterly basis, and opened up times on Saturday and Sunday, aside from the ceremony, talisman making. And I filled up probably half of those times. What I want to do is open up a few of the Saturday and Sundays for you out there that are not
podcast listeners.
Yeah, to the podcast listeners. So if you're interested in a personal talisman that I make during this, to create during this creative time, just get a hold of Alex @intentionbeads.com, and we'll work with you kind of one-on-one and see what that looks like for you. Because I'm kind of opening this up to creative field as people create their new reality. Okay.
Beautiful. Okay. So moving on to the horizon, our orbit of the week is I Am Fortunate.
Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about that.
So you will be featuring that on the Instagram account on today, Monday. So everyone look out for that. And the Eclipse ring, this is a sterling silver moon phase ring that I am proudly bringing to our collective to really hone in on those cycles that I'm talking about, because the moon cycles through so quickly that it's a great reminder. The moon is a great reminder for us to know that even when it is at its darkest, the light is on the way. You know, that there is this ebbing and flowing, and when it's the brightest and the lightest, we can also know that darkness is on the way. So it's just that reminder. It's the yin and yang. It's that ever flowing, ebbing and flowing that goes on. So when I saw this ring, I immediately had to have it for all of you.
You're a ring girl.
I'm such a ring girl. And I think we've discussed this in the podcast before, but everywhere I go, I collect a ring, and it has a meaning and it has a story. And this is kind of my gift to all of our listeners and subscribers, that this is that story. This is the moon's story of, it's such a mothering, nurturing feeling that que sera, sera. You know?
And it's like you can be every single one of those. You can be private. You can be half full. You can be almost full. You can be growing. You could be disseminating. Right. Like move through those cycles. Anyway, it's a really cool sterling silver ring.
Yes. So
I might even have to get one. Yeah, it's a size 7 and 8.
Yes. And if you haven't seen it, head over to Facebook, Instagram, and our website, intentionbeads.com.
Will there be a link?
Yes, there are links in the description, of course. Then December 16th, we have a community check-in. I actually will be hosting that one, so I invite you all to join me. The link to the Facebook event is in this description. And if you, of course, have any questions for any of these events, alex@intentionbeads.com. Then we have the grand unveiling December 19th and 20th. This is the Great Conjunction Talisman Making Webinar. This is all about that Jupiter-Saturn, December 21st that we're talking about. However, we're making the talismans on the 19th and 20th because Sandy is our talisman maker. She knows when, and where to make the talisman.
We're getting the applying before the conjunction.
And so between these 2 days, you pick one. You get to pick how your talisman is going to be displayed. Is it going to be a necklace? Is it going to be a bracelet or a charm? And then also, you want to sign up sooner than later, because we also send you the complimentary CWS Jupiter and Saturn Basics webinar, so that you're going to have this really great foundation of knowing what we're talking about, so that we can take it up a notch and really get personal with it, where Sandy will be going through your chart, really helping guide you on what is this vision that you're creating. And so we're so excited for this webinar. It's going to be amazing. Go ahead. What did you want to say?
I put my hand up.
You did.
So I don't overrun you. That I've been working on the charts that I have of people that have signed up already, and you will, in your inbox, maybe the Thursday or Friday before, get a whole series of things to print, and some of those pages will have specific dates and happenings that you can anticipate for 2021, using the Jupiter and the Saturn, what they're conjuncting in your chart, opposing, squaring.
Like what that means, right?
Yeah.
So you're not only going to get those dates, but you're also going to get Sandy's firsthand reflection on what that entails.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think that's it, but really, I just want to drill in here that this December 19th and 20th talisman making webinar, this is one of a kind. This isn't going to happen again for 200 plus years. So
see you then.
Yeah, see you then. So really consider this one, because I think it's going to be really beneficial, and to set and plant a seed during this time is crucial. What do you want on the other side of this?
You said you wanted to be here. Oh, you told
You
yourself,
came here.
your soul volunteered to come down to be here
Mm-hmm.
during this grand conjunction. Be aware of that and set your intention to vision and create your new reality. Folks, it is not going back to the old ways.
Yeah, the old paradigm is gone.
And seen.
And seen. Okay, so moving on into our house. Welcome, everybody. Let's get nice and cozy. We got the fireplace going here. We got our cups of cocoa. Here is yours. They got little marshmallows in there. We're getting all ready for the holiday season. And we were so excited about, just getting a little bit of that jolly holiday attitude. What was I going to say? Attitude. That, having that joyous end of the year type of feeling, even though if it is a tough year or not, is really important, I think, because it's a reminder of what is truly important. And what's important is those, connections with our loved ones. It's the moments, it's the just feeling the nice, beautiful heat of the fire and the really pleasant sips of the cocoa. But we also wanted to share in this holiday spirit with all of our She Beads people. And if She Beads doesn't ring any bells for you listeners, I'll give you a quick background of what She Beads is. She Beads was the original company of my mother's, so
Me.
Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
And this started back in the 90s when my mom was working for the Chicago Bulls. She was trying to make more money. She had 3 part-time jobs, and she was also a crafter. So it would be like tennis ball ornaments and
nut topiary trees.
And they were beautiful, like little glitter shoes for girls. And so you were always so creative and resourceful that you would take things and, kind of turn it into a little career.
The tennis balls, I would literally walk around the outside of the tennis courts picking up balls that had gone over the fences that nobody was going to go get.
Right. And
or dead ones.
Yeah, dead ones. Yeah.
And they're in mud and I would dye them gold or bronze or glitter and put beautiful things on them and sold them.
Bows
so I would find garbage.
Yeah.
And I would make a hole and put a popsicle stick in and then dip it in this metallic. Oh, I was very crafty.
Crafty.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was witness to all of this.
Yeah, you are.
And so when She Beads really came about was when Michael Jordan asked you to make him a bracelet. Mm-hmm. And that trickled into...
It started with he beads.
Right. But I'm going to fast forward real fast here. And that turned into, let's see, an international store in Australia, a Shop Japan, which is basically the HSN of all of Japan, feature.
Raku. Mm-hmm.
You had just so many like huge global shifts. And also, I mean, you were a household name that you also were in an article with the Lance Armstrong bracelet, of charity bracelets that helped donate money to good causes. She Beads was in there.
Mm-hmm. But we had a whole line of charity beads.
Yes. And so anyway, I just wanted to...
400 stores, 40 employees. It was a thing that I started in my basement with $30, by the way.
And you had a write-up in Tribal Leadership. You were...
on Good Morning America as one of the Made in America. Anyway, it was a big deal.
It was, yeah.
People were flying in from around the world. Limos would pull up front.
And that was 32 years.
Yeah.
You even had the Stanley Cup come into...
Yep, to thank me for
into
that.
the studio. So anyway, that's a really... longer than I imagined story of what She Beads is. It really has been a huge project of ours in the last 30 years and really shifting with this global shift into intention beads has been quite easy because we're doing, the same thing. We're hand making beads.
I am hand making beads.
Yes. And I'm hand making some canes. But so she beads was so near and dear to our heart that we also wanted to open this up for the holiday season because we have so many. I mean, you can imagine how many customers we have from those days. And it just seemed like so perfect. So we opened back up the vault, the She Beads vault, and we got our hands rolling. Oh, should I read our little...
Yes. But I want to say that, when I came up with that, when I got the message from Spirit to start the new company called Intention Beads, and that I am to make talismans at certain times, it was me that needed to make them. And so as we kind of slowed down and decreased She Beads' attention in the world so that I could do more intention beads, we closed the studio 4.5 years ago, moved out of the brick and mortar, moved into a sanctuary on our first level of the house. And we had to let all those employees go. I had 40 employees, and it was really, really sad for me to do that. But, it was a cycle. It was time.
It was a cycle.
So when we had it, it was your idea.
I helped bring that cycle in.
Your idea a couple months ago to bring it back for the holidays. And so we engaged like 6 of our employees back virtually. And we're doing pickups and drop-offs, and they're so thrilled. And actually, if you really want to know, it's them that gave you the dessert to bring to me today.
Full circle. This cycle is just coming into
So
fruition.
just to see their faces, you said, I didn't see them today. Anyway,
it was beautiful.
Our She Beads,
She Beads 12-day is back.
We're on day 9.
Let me tell you a story. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through our studio not a bead was rolling, and wouldn't you know, the customers worried of their handmade gift needs, so to stretch our hands and to make our beads. Now as the Christmas spirit grows slowly with care, please crack open the She Beads vault and see what is there.
Bravo!
So I wrote this just to get people excited about, our 12
We're
days
opening.
of Christmas.
Yeah.
We're opening the She Bead vault, and so every single day that we are, counting down to Christmas, we're having a new item up on the site. And so it's been really exciting for us to bring these She Beads items back and talk to customers that we haven't talked to in a while. And it's so funny too that a lot of our customers are also getting astrology readings with you and talismans, and so it's really interesting and fun.
When we started Intention Beads 10 and a half years ago, and we closed, it was very important for you. You were in college at the time and you were studying marketing, and you did not, it was kind of against the marketing rule to blend customer emails. And you really stayed hard and fast to no, if you sign up for She Beads, the website, you don't send intention bead stuff to them.
Yeah.
And I'm who cares? But nope. That's a line I will not cross. And so I've respected that. But just in the last, couple months, couple weeks particularly, we'll get an order and it'll be some She Beads items, and then it'll be a chakra set, or it'll be a pair of earrings from She Beads and a talisman from Intention Beads. And so the crisscross over has happened organically because we have, 5,000. I don't know how many. We've got a long list of emails that we've collected over 30 years with She Beads, which just sounds, let's just move those over here. But we have also organically collected our emails and you out there with our intention beads. So I guess anybody on intentionbeads.com would not see the She Beads emails going out.
Right. But if you do head over to our website, go up to the top, hit shop by product, and then you'll see the pop-up, the 12 days of Christmas. You'll see all those items on there. And they're only going to be up for a limited time, so make sure to check those out. So I think that is a wrap for our episode today. I really appreciate you all listening. We love you. Happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, and yes, let us know if you have any feedback. Share our podcast with your friends, and we will see you back here next week.
We are the one we've been waiting for.
And the search ends here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is fierce, and so